Hello everybody and welcome to the NASCAR Legend Series, Season number 3, Race number 8, the regular season finale. That's right, this is the last race of the regular season, the last chance for all of these drivers to make it into the playoffs. As here we look at the NASCAR Legend Series Lug-nut Cup, the prize for the champion of the series, and that will be decided in just 2 races after this one. We will decide our 8 playoff drivers here. That we will cut them down in half to 4 before race number 10, the season finale. And there are a lot of cars that still have a shot of getting in. All but 4 are still in contention officially. 5 if you count Carl Edwards being already in, locked in. But there is a lot of shuffling that could happen with points. Now let's take a look at some of the drivers to watch for. Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick starting up front. Brad Keselowski finally back after his injury. Kyle Busch back because his suspension was lifted because Keselowski's back. And Ryan Newman is finally back after his injury in the Daytona 500. Now we look at the points overall. Carl Edwards is locked into the playoffs automatically. Jimmy Johnson, Mark Martin are pretty much safe. Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, and Matt Kenseth. That is where the points start getting dicey, and they will all have to have good days in order to make it in, or beat out the guys who are already in. Cale Yarborough, Bill Elliott, Ryan Newman, Joey Logano, Michael Waltrip, Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, and Darrell Jarrett technically all have a shot, but really Dale Jarrett doesn't. Kurt Busch is a really long shot, so is Rusty Wallace, and then Darrell Waltrip and Brad Keselowski are already eliminated. And that is how the points stand going into this race. Now the drivers will roll off as we get ready to start the regular season finale. On the pole is going to be Joey Logano. Beside him is Kevin Harvick. Row number 2 is Bill Elliott and Denny Hamlin. Row number 3 is going to be Michael Waltrip and Jimmy Johnson. Row number 4 is Martin Truex Jr. and Cale Yarborough. Row 5 is Matt Kenseth and Kurt Busch. Row 6 will be Brad Keselowski and already locked into the playoffs, Carl Edwards. Row 7 is Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Rusty Wallace. Row 8 is Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman. Row 9 is going to be Darrell Waltrip and Jeff Gordon. Row 10 is Tony Stewart and Dale Jarrett. And row 11 will be Richard Petty and Mark Martin. As you see, a lot of people close on points are starting near the back as we look at today's race facts. It'll be a 7-lap race with stages at 2, 4, and 7. Joey Logano's on the pole, 70% chance of rain. And this is the last race of the NASCAR Legend Series regular season, as we are green at the Walmart Race Complex. Joey Logano will jump out to the lead. Kevin Harvick looks like he may be passed by Bill Elliott here, but he's going to keep it strong in the outside and keep the spot going into that left-hander, as he's got that second position secured by the right-hander as they go around that blue carousel for the first time, and we've got an accident. It's going to be Kyle Busch and Kurt Busch. Kyle Busch just cannot keep away from blue number 2s this season, as he looks like he wheel hops on the bottom, tries to throttle it maybe when he shouldn't, spins it out, collects Kurt Busch. That'll end Kurt Busch's chance at a playoff run. It was unlikely, but it does end any chance for it happening. As now the cars get ready to come back to the stage. As Joey Logano will win the stage, Kevin Harvick in second, Bill Elliott third. That could provide some valuable points for them getting into the playoffs, so there's a wreck. Big wreck on the front stretch. That looks like 5 cars involved. Dale Jr. is one of them. Dale Jr., who was only 6 points out. He might have been 6 points to the good. I think it was 6 points out. And he will hit the wall hard. That'll end his day for sure. There will be no playoffs this year for Dale Earnhardt Jr. So remember, he got in last year with a win in this same race, but it was at Pepsi Speedway. As stage 2 is done, Joey Logano wins it. Again, those could provide some important points for him to get in. Now, as we look at points as they run right now, Mark Martin is up by 9, Joey Logano 2, Bill Elliott 2, Richard Petty by 1, Tony Stewart -1, Matt Kenseth -5, Dale Jr. is out, even though he's -6, Jeff Gordon's -7, and those are all of the drivers that are close, as now the ticker will keep track of the points as we enter the final stage of this race. 2 laps to go. It looks like Kevin Harvick has something for Joey Logano this time, as Jeff Gordon starts moving his way up through the field, and Kevin Harvick's going to take the spot away from Joey Logano. It looks like Denny Hamlin's filed on the 3rd, Matt Kenseth in the 4th. As we come to 1 lap to go, keep an eye on those points. That line in the middle is the cut line. And now, it looks like Tony Stewart dives low to make up some ground, and Denny Hamlin goes wide. Now Matt Kenseth and Joey Logano trying to catch the leader. Logano with the bump. Now Kenseth with the bump. Kenseth will be put into the lead. That'll put him into the playoffs. Logano in by a tiebreaker only as they come to the line. Elliott snaps that tiebreaker. Bill Elliott eliminates Joey Logano, who had the lead all day. Tony Stewart, Bill Elliott, and Matt Kenseth squeeze their way into the playoffs unofficially. As Joey Logano, the lead finally goes away from him. He tries to take it back, knowing he might need it. And then Matt Kenseth spoils his party, putting him in 2nd, and then that pass for 3rd by Bill Elliott is enough to break the tie with him and Joey Logano, and that means Logano will not be making the playoffs this year as Matt Kenseth refuses to do a burnout to respect the others that were so close and now have to wait an entire another season to maybe redeem themselves. Classy move by Matt Kenseth. As we look at that cutoff line once again, the unofficial final points in the cutoff line, Mark Martin was up by 8, Tony Stewart by 1, Bill Elliott by 1, Matt Kenseth by 0. A 3-way tiebreaker with Joey Logano and Richard Petty, who are all... Joey Logano and Richard Petty miss out. Jeff Gordon misses out. See Joey Logano there. Heartbreak for that 22 team. As Matt Kenseth is your winner today at the Walmart complex. And now we look at your points heading into next week. Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, and Kevin Harvick are on top of the point standings, with Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, Bill Elliott, and Matt Kenseth behind them. This does not line up how they would look in the playoff ranking, though, for those top 8, but those top 8 are in the playoffs. Ignore that blue line for now. As we look at the back half of the field now, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Michael Waltrip, Cale Yarborough, Ryan Newman, Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Dale Jarrett, Brad Keselowski. They are all members that will miss the playoffs this year. Jr. especially being tough. Jeff Gordon charged through the field. Jr. wrecked out. Those two have it especially tough missing it this year. And then Kyle Busch and Darrell Waltrip also miss it. Jeff Gordon, last year's season champion, did not make the playoffs, which is a shocker to most, how poor he's done this season. Now we look at how the points will line up moving into next week for those top 8. Jimmy Johnson with the most playoff points will take over the top spot. Carl Edwards moving all the way down to 7th as he has the most points in the series. He has 0 playoff points, so that'll put him behind from the get-go. Mark Martin is in 2nd. Tony Stewart and Matt Kenseth round out those top spots in the playoffs. As here you see all of your playoff drivers before next week when they will start to fight. Thank you everybody so much for watching. This has been a fun regular season to make, and hopefully it won't be too terribly long before I can start making the playoff races. There will be a noticeable break this summer because I am moving houses, so I won't have a place to work on these for a while. The next 2 races coming up will be Subway Speedway, and as you guys voted for the finale, Egg Motor Speedway will take the finale track. So that'll be fun to have those 2 short, kind of similar tracks. Subway Motor Speedway looking a lot like Phoenix, Egg Motor Speedway being very unique. So those 2 tracks should serve well for the final 2 races of the season. Thank you everybody so much for sticking with me this far. I'll probably have a few announcements in the middle of this race and the playoff races for things I want to try after the playoff races are over. But anyways, enough rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all have a good night.